All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another Instagram webinar by WebHealer. So if you have been to our past ones, welcome back, and welcome if this is your first time showing up. So this is how this usually works is if you have any questions at all during the presentation about anything I'm talking about, feel free. There's a little question box on the bottom. So you can put in your questions at any time during this presentation, and then we will get them answered at the end. There will be a question and answer session after this. So if you don't think of anything till then as well, that's completely fine. So today we're talking about content creation, and I'm going to go through this presentation. We're going to do a short walkthrough of Later, which is a scheduling app if you don't know or you're not familiar with that platform. We're just going to show you how easy it is to batch create and schedule content with it. And then we're going to move on to our question and answer session. Like I said, any questions that you have during the presentation, feel free to put them in the question and answer box. Because in the chat, sometimes they get lost, but at the bottom, you should see that box anytime at all. All right, let's get started. So today we're going to be going over content pillars and what they are and what they mean for your business and your practice. We're going to be talking about how you can speak to your audience directly and defining different target audiences if you have more than one, which you probably do. Some general tips about content best practices, how to batch content, because it's really not as hard as it seems, and then the later walkthrough and question and answer, like I mentioned. So with your content, especially in the position that you are in, you should address your audience's pain points, which is their problems, anything that they are experiencing, any troubles that they have. So you address their pain points and you show them that you understand their problems. And then after that, you show them how you personally, you and with your practice, can solve their problems. And then prove that you specifically are the right person to solve them. So you go from telling them that you understand their problems, showing that whatever you do in your specific practice can help, and then showing that you specifically are the right person for them. And you also want to relate to them. I know that seems a bit different than maybe what you've been told in the past, but since there is such a huge movement towards online marketing and social media, and people are looking for therapists, counselors through Instagram, through Facebook, you have to be relatable because people do have options, especially now that literally the internet is at their fingertips on their phone. So this is really important to address all of these and also relate to them because they do have options. And by doing all this, it ensures that your dream client will choose you to go forward with. So first off, we're going to be talking about content pillars. So if you're unaware of what content pillars are, they're kind of your general like umbrella of content that different pieces of content will fall under. So if you go back and look through your previous Instagram posts, you'll probably see that your content can fall under different categories. So content pillars are pretty much just categories, but they're really important to make note of. They're really important to write down so that you know that you are addressing all of your key content pillars in your content for the month. So like I said, if you go back through your Instagram, your Facebook, whatever social media you have been using, you can probably go back and generalize your content into different groupings. So yeah, think of content pillars as different groups, like different categories. So let's say you post a lot of inspirational quotes. So that can go under like shareable or relatable content, for example. A few examples of content pillars could be building trust with your audience, growing awareness for your practice, So especially if you are new to this online space, that one is really important. Showcasing your credibility and your experience, promoting yourself, which is promoting your practice and your services, giving your followers insight. So these are a few different ones. You probably already have, like I said, these content pillars, but you might not be aware of them. And it's really important that you write them down. So here's a few examples of kind of common content pillars and ones that you might already have in your practice and in your social media presence. So for community, these things can, or these content pieces can be quotes, like inspirational quotes, quotes that relate to your audience, memes that are relevant. Again, we're trying to stay away from political or anything like that, but memes that are relevant to your practice that your clients will understand or other people in your industry will understand. You can share a funny story. This is engaging with your audience and other people in your practice or like in similar practices, because it really is a social platform. So you will get those opportunities to engage with other people that are in a similar place as you, which is fantastic. And then you're going to show maybe a few behind the scenes. This is where you get people to relate to you. You might show, your morning cup of coffee, like your morning meditation, a walk that you do every afternoon. It just makes you into more of a real person, makes you relatable, and it makes your followers and your audience want to trust you and take that next step and become a client. And then with credibility, this is everything that like social proof. So you're going to be showing things that your feedback, reviews that you get online, on Facebook, Google, anything, testimonials you might have collected from clients, from feedback forms, or if they send you a DM. Just to note, if they do send you a DM, you would want to check that it's okay that you post it first, because that is a private conversation. So just a little side note, and then probably blank out their name as well if they're not comfortable sharing that. But credibility just shows people, especially if you are a new page, and it shows people that are new to maybe counseling or reflexology or anything, how you can help them. And it just shows that other people trust you. And that is huge, especially if you are starting out, like I said, or especially if you are new to a social media platform. People want to see that you are legitimate and other people trust you so that they will trust you. And then perfectly moving on to trust. So this is talking about any credentials you have, like, kind of talking about your degree, any certificates, courses you've taken, how many years you've been in the industry, stuff like this. So people know that you are a trustworthy person and you are the person that they should trust to help solve some of these problems that they're having. This can also, this is content that shows cases your knowledge, gives tips to people. So if you see something like, 5 tips for this, or my 3 ways to reduce anxiety or something, this is all like trust building content. And also responding to questions. If anyone comes into your comments or your DMs and you respond to them, that's giving them a little bit of not just validation, but also you are solving their problems. And if you are doing that in your comment section, that means other people that come to your page will see that you are like a trustworthy source and you are someone that they should trust. And then promotion. So this is everything selling. This is highlighting your products, your services, depending on what you sell. You might do both, showing off the features of different services, the transformations. So this is all promotion is all about selling. And this is something that if you take nothing else away from today, remember this, is that 80% of your content should be value, should be talking to your audience about their problems, should be something that they would like to see and they relate with. 80% should fall into this, and only 20% should fall into promotion selling. I see a lot of times with some people, they post over and over again about their products or services, and you want to get people to stay on your page. You want to get people that will continue to follow you even after they have booked with you. Maybe they're a long-term client, or maybe they are a client of someone else looking to switch over. Or maybe they just have no clue, like for example, what reflexology is. So instead of just talking about yourself and talking about what you can do, you need to talk about them. You basically want to give people a reason to stay on your page and a reason to follow you and keep following you even after they have booked or even if they're not sure. So we do this by providing 80% value-led content and 20% promotion or selling your products. So there is a way, I just wanted to add this, that you can do sneaky sales in your call to action. And your call to action, if you are unaware, is the last sentence usually of your caption that tells people what to do after they've read your post, after they've read the caption. So this is usually just one thing. It should only be one thing, one call to action. And for example, it could be save this post for later, send us an email, head to our website, tag a friend in the comments, anything like that. I'm sure you've seen those a lot. But so I'm going to give you an example of how you can do like a sneaky sales in the call to action of any of your value forward posts. So for example, let's say you made a post about 5 tips to help ground yourself when you're feeling anxious. You'd obviously put in the 5 tips there. And then at the bottom, you would do a relatable call to action that could be book a consultation with me for more help, sign up to my email list for even more tips, head to my website to book a session, something like that. So it is still value forward, but you are kind of doing a little sneaky sales in the bottom. So that's kind of a way that you can sell more without it feeling to your audience like you are selling 100% of the time, because that's not what they want to see. And this is something that's really common in marketing about your target audiences, but I wanted to share it with you as well. And it's, if you're speaking to everyone, you're speaking to no one. So you probably have more than one target audience, even if you have a very specific demographic, even if for example, let's say you're targeting men that live in London and they are 30 to 50 years old. So that's very specific. And if you are, that's great. But you probably still have multiple target audiences within that demographic. So I'm going to give you a few examples that I've actually seen. So let's say I've seen a few reflexologists that have moved kind of into a more like mentoring or teaching space, but they still have people coming to them for sessions. So they are targeting people that could become students for them and take their courses, take like their online sessions. And then they're also targeting people that have visited their practice before, because they are still working at the reflexology practice alongside of becoming a like teacher mentor. So those are 2 kind of more obvious target audiences. So you want to have content that speaks to both of them. But let's say that you just have, like I said, that very specific demographic. You still probably have at least 2 target audiences in there. You have the people that have already booked with you, are already aware of what you do, and you want them to become more, regular clients. You want them to book again. And you also have the people that have never been to counseling, never heard of reflexology. So you have those people on one hand, and you need to kind of, you need to transform those people into clients. So that's where you kind of need to be speaking to them directly, showcasing that you understand their problems, you understand their worries, their doubts, their fears, to really change them into clients. So even if you have a specific demographic, you probably still have more than one audience in that. People that have not booked with you and are unsure, maybe they've never booked with anyone before in this space. And then people that have already trusted you, and you just want them to book again, especially with the past year of being open and shut and open again, people will be, needing that push to reminder of how great your services were and how great you made them feel afterwards. So what I would like you to do is, after this, is to not only write down your content pillars, go back, generalize your content, but to write down your target audiences. So you're going to write down their struggles, their pain points, and these you theoretically should know very well through market research or your years of experience. You want to write down who they are as a group and what makes them different from each other. And by understanding them, the more you understand them, you'll be able to create content that converts them easily into clients. You'll be able to understand what content works best for them. And the next thing is to speak to one audience per post. Don't try to encompass people that have never heard of reflexology with the people that have been booking with you for years. So I've seen people do that, and it just gets kind of confusing. The captions tend to be pretty long and kind of rambly. So when you are posting something, choose one target audience and pretend like you're just speaking to one person in that group. And that's what I try to do. So just keep to one person in that group and stick with that. So one audience per post. And the next thing is you should know their struggles, just reiterating. So in the content, you want to address their problems that they're facing, and again, show that you can solve their problems and that you are the right person to solve it. So then after you do your content pillars, you write down your target audiences, then you choose the types of content. So this is, since this is an Instagram one, these are different types of content that you can use on Instagram. So Instagram lives that can then turn into the IGTV, Instagram stories, feed posts, which is just one post, and then carousel posts, which is multiple feed posts, the ones that you can scroll through. And then new type of content, which is reels. So in order to batch your content, first, you can do this on an Excel sheet, Google Docs. Honestly, sometimes I like writing it down because it helps me better to just like kind of write things down physically. So you're going to write down your content pillar, which audience you are addressing with this content, and then the type of content that you want. So batching content, it's basically when you create your month's worth of content or so within a few hours. And I know that kind of seems daunting because sometimes content is like, how am I going to come up with that many ideas, especially if you are trying to post like, 3 to 5 times a week. But once you get started and once you take it step by step, it actually saves you so much time. It saves you so much energy. And then you'll have peace of mind, even if you spent, 3 full hours batching your entire content. The rest of the month, you'll know that your content's coming out and it is valuable and you have thought about it. So in the future, you're not going like, I've seen people, and I've been this way before, where I was like, oh, I forgot to post something today, or I should post more. And then I get kind of stressed out. And then you can tell when people post something just to post, where it just ends up being like a happy Tuesday post, or no caption, just a photo. And stuff like that doesn't really convert well with your audience. So if you are posting last minute, if you are posting because you feel like you have to, that's when the content falls flat and doesn't convert with the audience. So I would definitely recommend this next month, for July, to batch the entire month of content. And so, for example, going through this from your content pillar to your audience to your content type, let's say we're choosing trust. And we'll go back to like the 5 tips to ground yourself. And your audience would be people that are new to counseling, that have never done it before. They're, wary of starting out. They're not sure how it works. And then you're going to maybe choose a carousel post for that. So you have that written down, the content that you have to create, the content you have to come up with for that. So in the beginning, I would stick to a posting schedule that you can stick to. whether it's even 1 to 2 times a week. If you can stick to that and make valuable content that speaks to your audience, that's more important than posting 7 times a week without a plan or a strategy. So just choose something that works best for you, even if it's once or twice a week. Go through all of these, write down the content, and it makes it easy to create. So after you write down your content plan, your content ideas, then you're going to create or archive your content, depending on if you're using Canva or another source to create content, or if you're pulling it from testimonials or screenshots, or using your own photos. That's really up to you and what you resonate with. But after you have the written content plan, then it's easier to match the photos and create the content based on the topics that you wanted to talk about and for those audience. And then next, you're going to go to your favorite scheduling app and just load all the content in, schedule it, and caption it. So all these things don't have to be done at one time. You can write down a content plan one day, over your morning cup of coffee, keep adding to it when you keep thinking of like problem awareness content. Then, if you have an hour or so, you can kind of create other content, download it, upload it to your scheduling app. And captions, you can literally do that while you're watching Netflix. It's stuff that you already know. You already know your audience's problems. And so I know this seems kind of daunting, like I said, to create your entire month worth of content, but once you start, you kind of snowball it, you get on a roll, and in a few hours, you can have your entire month of stress-free content that you know is going to convert better than last-minute posting. So we're going to just talk about a few content best practices, and then I will show you how easy it is to schedule your content if you haven't used a scheduling app before. So just to kind of sum up, choose one topic per post, one audience per post. Long captions that end up being kind of wordy lose people's interest. So if you choose one topic per post and stick to it, you're more likely to have someone read the entire thing because it's a topic that they want to read. It's a topic that they're interested in. So don't switch it over to a million different topics because that actually is very common and it tends to lose people's interest fast. And then cut the fluff. Don't add words in your content, in your caption that doesn't need to be there. Every word should have a purpose. You only have, so many characters to get your point across. So cut out anything that doesn't feel necessary. Cut out anything that will not resonate with your audience because Instagram users do have a very short attention span. And then create content that fits with your brand. So don't copy other people's content. Don't do something just because you think it's what people in the industry should do. Create content that resonates with you because at the end of the day, people are choosing your practice for you, especially if they're finding you on social media. So you want to create content that feels aligned with you and your brands and that fits who you are as a person and also is, on brand content because that converts really well. And then a few other ones are engage with your audience before and after you post. So if you get a comment after you post, you're going to want to respond to that as fast as possible. So something that I do is I would set a reminder on your phone or put it into a calendar, like whatever you use. So once you do schedule your entire month of posts, you can then add them to your calendar, your phone, set a reminder so you know that a post is about to go out and that you will be active on Instagram, especially if you do have Instagram notifications like muted or silenced or turned off. Again, lead with value. Most of your content should be value-led. And make sure to switch up your content types for best results. And then you can see what works best for your audience. Some people really love carousel posts. Some people love reels. So by switching it up to like the feed post, which is one post, your story post, reels and carousels, then you will get the best result from that. So a few scheduling tools, we're going to show you later just how easy it is to schedule, really easy walkthrough. But there's a few other tools here that you can check out if for some reason later isn't something that you love. Canva also has a new scheduling tool. So if you are creating content in there, it's really easy then to schedule just with Canva. So why should you have a scheduling tool? Like I said before, you're going to save time by batching your content. You won't feel rushed or stressed if you one day remember that you haven't posted in a while. You'll never be stuck not knowing what to post because you will have thoughtful content that has already been scheduled. And you can schedule when you have an extra hour or so, and then you're done for the entire month. You have so much on your plate that you shouldn't have to be worried about last minute posting content on Instagram. And then, like I said, it doesn't convert very well if it's not thought through. So we're gonna head over to later really quickly. And I'm just gonna show you how easy it is to create content for a week. Okay, so I actually created just a few blank templates here. So I am going to show you, there's a million ways to upload media from Dropbox, Google Drive, from your computer. But something, if you are creating in Canva or you do have photos on your computer, you can easily just highlight them, drag and drop, and they upload. That's what I tend to do, actually. It makes it really easy. So there are free and paid versions of this. Honestly, the free version is great. If you want to get more like analytics, you want to post to multiple platforms, then I would recommend getting the paid plan, but free is perfect. And I've used a lot of scheduling apps, but I love Later just because it's just really easy to use, especially if you are a visual person. And so I'll show you how easy it is to post. So let's say we want to post something Tuesday at 12 p.m. Just drag and drop one here. It comes up, you write your caption, your hashtags in the bottom. And now they just changed this. You used to not be able to add location to the free one, but now you can add it. So you can do London if it'll load. Okay. And then, like I said, if you do have the free or the paid version, then it will give you hashtag suggestions, saved captions, stuff like that. But it's honestly not necessary. I've been doing just fine with the free version, and I don't find it necessary because I do my own like hashtag research. But if that's something that you want to do in the future, but we are in no way affiliated with Later, I just really love this one. I'll show you why. So say you want to change this post, you can easily drag and drop it to another date, another time, or click on it and then change the date completely, change the time right here. And then it disappears and goes the following week. So let's say we're going to post a few more. Drag and drop. That's fine. So what's great about this is that then you can see your complete calendar coming up. You can see the preview of how it's going to show up. And then this is great, especially if you are really into having an aesthetic feed, then you can move things around like this as well. And it'll change the time that it's posted. Just makes it really easy. You can delete things from there as well. So especially if you want to have a grid that looks nice, that fits in with your website branding, makes it very easy with the drag and drop interface. Something that is important to note though, with any of these scheduling apps, I think besides Canva, you have to have a business Facebook setup because Facebook now owns Instagram. So in order to schedule to Instagram, you have to link it to both your Instagram and your Facebook business page or a Facebook business page, even if you're not using it. And that's the only way that it will auto post for you. So if you don't have that, you can still have an account. You can still kind of create content. You can still do these story previews, but it won't auto post for you unless you link it to a Facebook account. But this is really easy to set up. And if you have any problems, if you are trying to set up with later on, feel free to send us a message and we can help you walk through getting started. So I just wanted to show you how easy it is. You can filter through like all the media views. If you wanted to post a video, and let's say you've uploaded like 100 things, you can search through videos that haven't been used. You can see what you've already posted. So you want to do like unused images. So these are ones that have not been posted before that are ready to post. And then if you want to stick to a specific schedule, say like, Tuesdays and Thursdays, whatever you choose for yourself, then you can see on here the entire schedule. And again, easily drag and drop. So I think this is one of the most user-friendly ones out there. So I would definitely recommend it, but you can do whatever feels best. But I would highly recommend using one scheduling app, no matter what it is, just so that you can get everything out there a month ahead of time. All right. Let me get back to the presentation. So just to wrap it up, content should be 80% value-led, 20% selling yourself, promotion. Like I said, if you take something away from today, this is what it should be. You lead with value, and then that's where you get your clients from the value, from your knowledge. This is how you set yourself apart, showcase yourself as an individual, showcase yourself as a therapist. And when you are batching content, you want to make sure that you have written down, like after this, even if you have a few minutes, if you can go back, write down your content pillars, your target audiences. This really helps when you're brainstorming, and it makes sure that you are addressing different audiences, you are addressing different types of content, and you are using carousels, feed posts, stories, etc. And you know that you have a good mix of those. So your content all together should show that your audience, that you understand their problems. It should show how you can help and how your practice can help, and specifically how you are the right person to help them. And batching content might seem daunting, but it saves time, in the end reduces stress, and it guarantees that your posts are valuable to your audience. And if you have any questions that you haven't thought of now, as always, feel free to send us an email, DM us on Twitter or Instagram. Because I know sometimes when you are thinking about this, or you go through a presentation, you're like, okay, that makes sense. That's really easy. But then when you're actually, setting up later, when you actually are writing down your target audiences or anything, you might have a few questions about that. So any questions at all, feel free to reach out and we will help walk you through all of this later. So if there are no questions at the moment, thank you so much for joining us. I think our next webinar is going to be talking, since we talked about content creation now, is to how to boost your content using other features of Instagram, such as hashtags. But thank you so much for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you next time. And again, screenshot this if you have any questions. We're here for that. All right. And then have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining.